we got some work to do. Sun's setting, so only so much we can do. Okay, back to the caffeine calibration. Now, with the green eye, it's matcha and whatever you decide. So it's basically matcha green tea powder, and you could either use a matcha tea bag or quite simply get the pure matcha powder and mix it into your coffee. Have it as is, or whatever your preference is. The point of the trick is to have the matcha, and that gives you that L-theanine that is vital to matcha and the way that green tea actually works. That L-theanine triggers the caffeine and lets it be tapered off by the body and doesn't give you that sudden burst, that jitteriness, and it keeps you more alert. Lets you think a little more clearly and test it more proactively. This test is going longer than I had originally intended. Originally, I intend for the caffeine calibration segments, when we introduce a new recipe of sorts, that it goes for about 3 weeks. The segments that we're going to be doing will be 3 weeks. First week will be the introduction, the recipe, if you guys want to join along with us, the cost effectiveness, any budget hacks potentially, and the way that you can follow along and let us know how your progress is going. Week 2, which just about is the one we're on right now, because we're a little behind. A lot of things going on. Now for week 2, I'm going to start talking faster. I hope you guys don't mind. Week 2, we're talking about transportation, ease of access, and the flexibility of the recipe. Now, the recipe is very flexible. You can basically use the matcha in just about anything that you eat or drink, or you could quite simply just add it to your coffee, just like you would with a cinnamon or nutmeg or other herbs. You just have to match the flavor with the way that you're drinking the coffee or alter it in a certain way. Okay, let's get this going. Ooh. Yeah, this works too. Okay. Man, I really turned this up right. That's good. OLED screen. I'm going to have a lot of bugs in my face too. Now, I just wanted to mention that the combination that I ended up doing was a green tea blend, not only a green tea powder. And this blend does have its intent. This blend actually had rice added to the combination, and was actually the first ingredient. So my test wasn't exactly with the pure matcha, but regardless of the pure matcha or the blend, you still get just about the same stuff going on. Now, this stuff going on, quite simply, they typically get stored in a jar or a container, and you can easily bring that to and from work, and that's going to make things extremely simple for you to end up using. Granted, you may end up guesstimating by using just a regular spoon from work, or you can bring a regular tablespoon to work with you. Depends if you have a backpack or if you have a purse, or just bag it up, pre-bag it before you go into work, depending on how much coffee you tend to have while you're out, or prepare your cup before you leave home. All works the same, just depends on how you want to do it. Now, the matcha is intended now, since I'm redoing this, I'm re-mentioning this. Now, an interesting fun fact that was my review and the transportation of it. Fairly simple, very simple. You add it. Now, an interesting fun fact, because matcha is technically just green tea, and that green tea is actually going to be green tea is just about as healthy as matcha. Some people will try and correct you, but matcha is green tea, but the process is different when it comes to the harvest. So, between 20 and 30 days, either before harvest or during its life cycle, the matcha is actually grown in the shade, and this shade growing process will make the leaves of the green tea, it will make the leaves swell and increase the caffeine and nutrients more than 30% per serving. That's why when you're shopping for this matcha, you want to look and make sure that the ingredients, for one, if it's a blend, that green tea is first and they don't have rice in there as a extra energy supplement. I don't fully believe that. So, grown matcha, shade-grown green tea, that is going to be one of the main factors to whether it is matcha and how nutritious it is. That's why they call it pure Japanese matcha, because they're the experts who crafted such a process to increase the amount of nutrients per green tea leaf. That's the caffeine calibration segment. Now we're going to be going over the dirty augmentionables. This week we're going to be discussing virtual races. And these virtual races are ways that you can get involved healthier and push yourself a little harder. Now, there's all different types of races. Some of them are just trying to join in the fun, trying to copy or add their own pizzazz to it. But the main one that we're going to go over is Run Zombies Run. Now, they do this amazing thing where they introduce a storyline to it. You have to escape a fairground. Somehow a fairground, and they have various themes going on. The Run Zombies Run is definitely one that we endorse, and I'll be trying it myself. And if I can, I may be recording myself, interacting with the different points, as well as maybe seeing myself run a little faster or harder because of it. Out in the wild. Gotta make sure there's no bugs in your food. I know what you're thinking. Zombies, they're scary. And the fact that the sun has just set, it is scary. But one of the main things you have to keep in mind is that you're not in any real danger. Granted, your character will die if you don't successfully run from a zombie during the prologue or during the storyline. So definitely something to keep an eye out for and be careful about. And regardless of what virtual race that you're doing, you still want to make sure that you are actually exercising. Which, when it comes down to zombies, of course you're going to be running your butt off. Ah, damn mosquitoes. No matter what I put on, they always come after me. So, when thinking about zombies and Zombies Run, you do want to be scared by zombies. It's a good thing, because no matter where you turn, where you are, you'll always want to be cautious. You don't want to end up on CSI, because for some reason it's always joggers that are discovering bodies, or for some reason they're the ones that they end up becoming victims. So, we don't want you to do that. If you discover something, call the police. Do that. But the main thing is that while you're out running, you want to be as safe as possible and cautious as possible. With Zombies Run, you only have to increase your speed a certain grade. You do not need to book it halfway across the block. Granted, you can if you're in that type of shape, but you don't want to do it every single time, because, well, granted, you'll build up the stamina, but the first week or two, go easy. See, the storyline gets you involved, and then the audio cues that they end up playing for you are right on point to get you pushing yourself even further. A lot of people see these Run Zombies Run virtual races as the standard for virtual races, as it's an engaging race that keeps you interested and wants you going to the finish line. Because it's a life or death mission, quite literally. Now, granted, every virtual race is run by a business of some sort. Some of them may be for charity in some way, and will donate some proceeds there. But with a virtual race, same thing, but most of the time it's for the swag or being able to actually participate in the race. Now, for Run Zombies Run, it's $30 and $50 for the entry fees. The $30 for just a regular person, or a twin entry, so buying it twice, for another person, $50. Yeah, 30 or 50, so you save $10 if you run with a buddy. You pay the entry fee, and then when you finish, which you can either run or you can walk, you get the finisher medal sent to you, an actual physical medal. You get the 2 audio training missions to get you ready. You get story-based emails, and a ARG minigame. And if you're a competitive type, the system also enters your time into a leaderboard. And this leaderboard will be essential towards bettering yourself between each time you do it. Granted, you don't want to be doing a 5K every single day, depending on your activity level. And the race will actually run from October 24th to November 11th. If you enter, you can race for your own time up until the 11th, but after the 11th you will actually find you won't actually edit the leaderboard. It has to be within the certain time frame. Now, we're coming to you as soon as possible with this information. That way, if you do want to get involved for it, the race is a standalone race, and the storyline is in Season 1. So it won't have any spoilers, and it won't have anyone outside of Season 1 involved in it. That way, you can maintain, and you can just play the game right after and keep running. So there won't be any spoilers, and you have basically enough time to do the ZR 5K app. If you start this week, go for it. I'm kidding. My math might be off. I know that I did the math, and I ended up starting the game with 8 weeks, almost right on point to when this race was coming out. So I knew I had to keep going with it. But even if you're not playing the Run Zombies Run or doing the virtual races, there's the thing you can do every month called Community Day. Pokemon Go has had one pretty much every month for the last 2 years. And the next ones coming up are definitely ones to be interested in. The current one for September, the 15th, when the geese fly away, will be Turtwig. Now, Turtwig Community Day will have its own bonuses. It'll be September 15th, and it'll be 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. during your time zone. The next one is up in the air. They haven't announced it yet. They usually announce it towards some obscene channel, or they end up announcing it the day of or after the Turtwig Community Day, after that month's Community Day. After that, November, we already know it's Chimchar, because they keep to standards and they keep to patterns. which is why I'm going to be bringing up my next point of Community Day invasions for the Augmented One Storm. But Community Day for December is the 14th and 15th, and that is when they bring out every Community Day Pokemon, have them spawn extra in the wild, and during certain time frames or during that weekend, you can actually evolve for those special moves. Yeah. Maybe this will work better, I don't know. Maybe I'll record more like this. Who knows? Anyway, so the same thing as last year with all the 11 Pokemon from each month for 2019. And this year, they may feature the ones from 2018. And if it does, a lot of those Pokemon from that first 2018 run of Community Days were on point towards the PvP meta. So things like Blastburn, Charizard, Frenzy Plant Venusaur, Umbreon with Last Resort is top tier when it comes to Great League. So you definitely want to have some EVs ready to be walked, have them ready on the go, and evolve them at night. Don't forget. Metagross with Meteor Mash, and there's probably a few other PvP viable Community Day ones that I haven't mentioned, because I'm okay with PvP. Still getting there, but we'll get there too. But my idea is for Community Day invasions. Now, these Community Day invasions are mostly my thoughts because I highly doubt Niantic will start Community Days in the spring, because they haven't come up upon this yet, where they've actually run into a generation with the Community Days, because they started Community Days around Gen 2, Gen 3, and they've been slow with it. They had Eevee and Pikachu, so in Means of Patterns, the starters were always in there. So I honestly think that they will do a soft relaunch of Community Days starting in January with Giovanni and Team Rocket. That's why they released it so soon, that it'll be Community Day Invasion. Now, I think the main idea for the Community Day Invasion is the bonus that you'll actually get is from the bonuses that they'll implement during it are the Shadow Pokemon will be out in the wild. If they weren't out in the wild, then Team Rocket wouldn't defeat your Pokemon, or they would have a free revive cost. And that revive cost will be a way that you can continuously do them, and it wouldn't be a big burnout. Granted, you wouldn't be able to go as hard as you usually do for Community Days, but that's kind of my general idea. Like maybe Giovanni ends up having a truckload of them and then ends up breaking down, or you destroy the cargo ship and then they get released, and then you have to face the outbreak of them. I'm thinking as I'm going, I'm sorry guys. General idea, Shadow Community Day Pokemon for 2020, because it's a good way to soft relaunch everything, and the best way that you can get a shiny Shadow Charizard. I mean, if I was any good at video and images, Shadow shiny Charizard. Use your imagination, it will be awesome. But anyway, I wanted to take this time and thank you all for joining us on the podcast. Now, each section has been separated on YouTube. We only did it into 2 parts to make it a little easier, so some of the segments might be a bit longer than as in intended, but it's just because we have so much to think and talk about. You can submit your own Augmented One Storms to us on Twitter or the various social medias, or directly to us at contact@augmentednaturally.com. You can visit us at augmentednaturally.com. Still working on the content for Twitch and the various other medias, but we're doing everything that we can as we can. Now, for some of the petite platforms out there, like Twitter and Snapchat, our handle is Augmented Nature One, without the E. So, Augmented Nature One. And all the other ones, you can find us at Augmented Naturally. Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Mixer, TikTok, whatever keeps you all augmented and socially acceptable naturally. You can join the conversation your way. And remember, you too can catch them all with good luck and good balls. I'll catch you guys in the next one.